Behind the glittering facade of Hollywood's golden age, a silent killer stalked its most beloved stars. They dazzled on red carpets, commanded standing ovations, and captured millions of hearts. Yet behind closed doors, they lived with a devastating secret that could destroy everything they had built. Some were legendary actors who became America's sweethearts. Others were musical geniuses who defined entire generations. All carried the weight of a disease the world feared to name. This is the story of 13 icons who shone brightest just before the darkness claimed them. Stars who paid the ultimate price for living authentically in an age of deadly prejudice. If you're ready to uncover the hidden stories behind some of entertainment's most tragic losses, make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell, because these stories deserve to be remembered. Rock Hudson, the Golden Boy's perfect facade. Rock Hudson embodied everything 1950s America adored in a leading man. With chiseled features and magnetic screen presence, he became Hollywood's ultimate heartthrob. Yet beneath the carefully crafted image lived a man trapped by his era's cruel expectations. Hudson's Beverly Hills mansion hosted legendary underground parties where Hollywood's elite could finally drop their masks. When his agent arranged a sham marriage with Secretary Phyllis Gates in 1955, it was simply another performance in his elaborate charade. In 1984, the performance ended. His AIDS diagnosis shattered the illusion forever. Hudson's gaunt appearance at a press conference in July 1985 shocked the world. When he died that October at age 59, his passing forced America to confront uncomfortable truths about Hollywood's duplicity and the human cost of prejudice. Anthony Perkins, the killer behind the mask. Anthony Perkins gave the world Norman Bates, cinema's most chilling killer. Yet the real tragedy was his own prison, a life spent hiding behind carefully constructed lies. Born with undeniable talent, Perkins earned an Oscar nomination and became a teen heartthrob. His relationship with actor Tab Hunter required elaborate deceptions, including staged dates with female companions while they secretly held hands in darkened theaters. Desperate to conform, Perkins subjected himself to brutal conversion therapy and married photographer Barry Berenson. The tortuous treatments failed, leaving only psychological scars. Learning of his HIV status through a tabloid rather than his doctor added cruel irony. Perkins continued working even as the disease ravaged his body, maintaining his gentle smile until death from AIDS-related pneumonia in 1992 at age 60. Freddie Mercury. The show that couldn't go on. Freddie Mercury transformed every concert into a transcendent experience, his voice commanding stadiums worldwide. Born Farrokh Bulsara, he spent his life reinventing himself, but even extraordinary talent couldn't shield him from AIDS's devastating reach. Mercury's relationship with Mary Austin provided public cover while he explored his sexuality privately. Their bond remained unbreakable. She became his closest confidant and eventual heir. When HIV invaded his body in 1987, Mercury channeled mortality into music. "The show must go on" became his defiant battle cry against death. He continued recording until his body could no longer cooperate. On November 23, 1991, Mercury finally acknowledged his AIDS diagnosis publicly. Within 24 hours, he was gone at age 45. Robert Reed, America's secret father. To millions of families, Robert Reed was the perfect father through his role as Mike Brady on The Brady Bunch. Behind the wholesome image lived a man carrying devastating secrets. Born John Robert Wright Jr., Reed brought classical training to television. His perfectionist tendencies clashed with writers, but child actors adored him. He became a genuine mentor, taking them to theaters and expanding their horizons. Reed's marriage ended when he acknowledged his homosexuality. From then forward, he lived compartmentalized, America's ideal dad on screen, a gay man seeking connections privately. When colon cancer was diagnosed in 1991, few suspected deeper truth. Reed died in May 1992 at age 59 with cancer listed officially. Medical records later revealed his HIV-positive status, adding another tragic layer. Pedro Zamora, death as education. Pedro Zamora accomplished something unprecedented, transforming his dying into education for millions of Americans. At just 17, his HIV diagnosis could have driven him into hiding. Instead, he chose radical transparency. Zamora became an activist, speaking at schools about HIV prevention and living with the virus. His courage in confronting stigma made him a powerful voice for understanding. The Real World San Francisco in 1994 provided television's largest platform. Millions watched not just reality TV, but a young man's intimate AIDS battle. His relationship with Sean Sasser, including their commitment ceremony, broke barriers by showing same-sex love naturally. As disease attacked his brain, Zamora lost ability to walk, read, and recognize friends. He died November 11, 1994, hours after the finale aired, at age 22, personalizing AIDS for America. Ed Koch, the mayor's silent battle. Ed Koch dominated New York politics for over a decade with his signature greeting, "How am I doing?" But the question he never answered concerned his most guarded secret, his sexuality during the AIDS crisis. As mayor from 1978 to 1989, Koch rescued New York from bankruptcy and restored confidence. However, when AIDS devastated the gay community, activists like Larry Kramer accused him of responding too slowly. Koch's private life remained strictly off-limits. He deflected questions with humor, creating an impenetrable wall around personal affairs. Speculation followed him throughout his career, but he never confirmed rumors. Only after Koch's death in 2013 did close friend Charles Kaiser reveal the truth. Koch had been gay. His AIDS-era silence represents the impossible choices faced by closeted public figures prioritizing political survival. Roy Cohn, the persecutor's ironic end. Roy Cohn embodied ruthless political power, building his reputation by destroying others. As Senator Joseph McCarthy's chief counsel and architect of the Lavender Scare, the campaign to purge LGBTQ+ people from government, Cohn wielded homosexuality as a weapon while hiding his own. Cohn's relationship with consultant David Schein became tabloid fodder, yet he vehemently denied romantic involvement. Throughout his career, he attacked those he deemed weak for living authentically. After Washington, Cohn became a shadowy legal fixer, representing clients from Donald Trump to organized crime figures. When AIDS claimed him in 1986, he maintained deception until the end, claiming liver cancer. Cohn's death at 59 created cruel irony. The persecutor of gay Americans died from AIDS, victim of the very hatred he helped institutionalize across America. Steve Rubell, King of the Night. Studio 54 represented 1970s hedonism's pinnacle, and Steve Rubell ruled this kingdom of excess with absolute authority. Born in Brooklyn to modest means, Rubell transformed a former opera house into America's most exclusive playground. Rubell's door policy was legendary. Only the beautiful, famous, or fascinating gained entry. Inside, celebrities like Andy Warhol, Liza Minnelli, and Mick Jagger indulged in every vice while Rubell orchestrated chaos with manic energy. The party ended abruptly in 1978 when federal agents discovered millions in skimmed cash. Rubell's boastful claim about making more money than the mafia became evidence against him. After prison, Rubell attempted rehabilitation by pioneering boutique hotels. But AIDS struck in the mid-1980s. He died July 25, 1989, at 45. Though officials cited hepatitis, everyone understood the underlying truth. Joel Crothers, the Forgotten Prince. Joel Crothers captured hearts across America through soap operas like Dark Shadows and Somerset. With classic good looks and natural charisma, he seemed destined for major stardom. Instead, he became another casualty of an industry demanding impossible choices. While portraying romantic leads on screen, Crothers' off-camera reality required careful concealment. As an openly gay man within his personal circle, he understood public disclosure's career-ending consequences. Even his engagement to actress Vala Gray served as protective theater. When AIDS began claiming lives in the early 1980s, Crothers quietly disappeared from television screens. His absence went largely unnoticed by an industry focused on tomorrow's stars rather than yesterday's favorites. Crothers died in 1985 at age 44 from AIDS complications, his passing barely acknowledged by mainstream media. Denholm Elliott, the gentleman's secret. Denholm Elliott never sought leading man status, yet his distinctive presence elevated every film he touched. From Raiders of the Lost Ark to A Room with a View, Elliott brought depth to supporting roles lesser actors might have played as mere exposition. Born in 1922, Elliott survived 3 years as a German prisoner of war, forging his resilient character and informing his nuanced performances. His bisexuality remained largely private, known primarily to close friends and family. Elliott's AIDS diagnosis in 1987 came during peak career success. Rather than retire, he continued accepting roles, determined to work until his body couldn't cooperate. His professionalism never wavered as disease slowly consumed him. Elliott died at home October 6, 1992, at age 70. His death shocked British film industry for losing considerable talent and revealing his long-hidden illness. Liberace, Glitter and Lies. Liberace transformed piano performance into pure spectacle, surrounding himself with candelabras, sequined costumes, and enough rhinestones to blind audiences. Yet behind the flamboyant showmanship lived a man terrified of authenticity. For decades, Liberace aggressively denied his homosexuality, even suing publications suggesting otherwise. When Britain's Daily Mirror implied he was gay, he swore on the Bible during court proceedings. "I am not a homosexual and have never had homosexual relations." His relationship with Scott Thorson remained hidden until their bitter legal battle exposed uncomfortable truths. Thorson's lawsuit revealed Liberace's controlling behavior, including pressuring him to undergo plastic surgery. As AIDS ravaged his body in the mid-1980s, Liberace relied on increasingly heavy makeup. He died February 4, 1987, at 67. Officials cited heart failure, but medical examiners later confirmed AIDS. Howard Ashman, Disney's hidden genius. Howard Ashman gave voice to a generation's dreams through songs like Under the Sea and Beauty and the Beast. As Disney's renaissance began, few knew their most gifted lyricist was quietly battling for his life. Born in 1950, Ashman established himself in musical theater, creating Little Shop of Horrors with composer Alan Menken. When Disney hired them for The Little Mermaid, Ashman's lyrics helped transform animation into legitimate art again. His HIV diagnosis came at peak creative powers. Rather than slow down, Ashman worked with increased urgency, knowing time was short. During final months, Menken brought a piano into his hospital room for continued collaboration. The mob song from Beauty and the Beast took deeper meaning as Ashman wrote about fearful crowds, reflecting his experience with AIDS stigma. He died March 14, 1991, at 40. These 13 stories reveal a devastating pattern that extended far beyond individual tragedy. Each death represented not just the loss of extraordinary talent, but the cruel mathematics of a society that forced its brightest stars to choose between authenticity and survival. Some, like Pedro Zamora and Keith Haring, chose courage over concealment, using their platforms to educate and advocate even as death approached. Others, like Rock Hudson and Liberace, maintained their carefully constructed facades until the very end, prisoners of an industry that valued image over humanity. Perhaps most heartbreaking were those caught between worlds. Artists like Howard Ashman and Robert Reed, who continued creating beauty while privately battling a disease their colleagues couldn't even name. Their final works carry additional weight when viewed through the lens of their hidden struggles. These losses teach us that talent transcends prejudice, that art outlives its creators, and that the cost of forcing people to live in shadows extends far beyond the individuals involved. Society lost not just 13 remarkable people, but countless contributions they might have made had they lived freely and fully. If these stories moved you, consider subscribing to ensure their memories continue reaching new audiences. Share this video with others who believe that every life, regardless of who someone loves, deserves to be remembered with dignity and truth.